Welcome back to Plug-In. This is our second segment of the show, episode 19, 20?
20. Episode 20. Yes.
I already forgot.
Oh, it's okay.
So I thought it was so cool because yesterday on Facebook, I saw my hometown trending on Facebook, Huntington Beach, because there were pictures posted all over the internet, what looked to be snow.
Snow on the beach,
which is crazy to me. And thank goodness it rained yesterday because, we really need it.
Actual hail.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
freak storm.
Exactly. And as cool as that is, I think it's also concerning because of global warming and these extreme climate changes.
Yep. We are in a global warming, and there's almost 95% or 99% of the scientists confirm, you can't throw so much crap in the atmosphere and hope that it's all going to go away.
Right.
And so it is getting warmer. Global warming doesn't mean that we are going to fry hotter than hot. It's the drastic changes in weather, whether it's extreme cold or extreme hot in different areas that used to be somewhat tempered. It might be hotter or colder. And the fact is that the ice caps, even Iceland and Greenland, they have land that haven't been exposed for over 200,000, 300,000 years, and now there's no snow on it. It's all gone. So that's what global warming is, that fact the ocean levels are rising. That's what global warming. It's not just a specific day or month or week. It's the extent of the 10, 15 years of temperature and weather patterns. So, and the fact is that we are literally in drought still with the snow or with the little hail that we got. We are in drought. Most of our lakes and rivers and all this down to almost 70% of their levels in California. And compare that to Boston.
Right. And I think it's so important to mention and have people realize that global warming, like you said, it isn't just places getting hotter. It's also these extreme temperature changes and this extreme weather. I mean, for example, back in November when Buffalo, New York was just covered in snow and people were trapped in their cars, people were trapped in their homes. There were some deaths and it's...
Well, look at what's happening in the South. In places where they never had snow, they're having snow and ice and freezing rain, and not one storm that passed by. It's getting beat one after the other. And in some of the areas that used to be tropical, they have fires and droughts. So global warming is major changes. It's not taking the temperature today. Oh, we're fine. It's 78 degrees in Southern California. It's fine. Global warming taking the whole entire planet atmosphere and the changes and the patterns that it changes. But there is 1% of these, they call them global warming deniers, and they are not with it because they say science didn't prove it. Yet they say science proved everything. Science got us to the moon, science got us the cell phone, and they 100% behind that, but they said science of the weather and the patterns are not there yet, but they rely on the weather report, on the warning of when we have storms. All this is fine, except no such a thing like global warming. So we have to deal with them, and it's true that we can go and protect the U.S. and cut down on all the emissions, but other countries need to do the same.
Exactly. It's not just going to be one country that...
No, it's going to be a global effort.
It has to be a global effort, definitely. Yeah. And it's really a scary situation because all these polar ice caps, they're melting. Polar bears are drowning because they
swim forever to find a piece of ice to stand on it, and they are unable. Yeah, I don't know. Even in a couple of days ago, they had like 2,000 seals that they washed ashore, baby seals, in Southern California, because the fishes that disappeared and they are hungry, and their parents, their mother is going deeper and deeper in the ocean, and they're leaving them neglected, and they end up washing ashore almost starving. So that's all patterns of changes.
Right, right. And it's all connected to global warming.
Yes, yes, 100%. But again, I don't believe in this carbon offset like some of these politicians that tell you, oh, we planted a tree to offset the carbon we burn, and yet they take their jumbo jet and they travel around the corner with it.
Right.
That's not helping.
Right. Yeah. I think another thing, I know there are some celebrities are huge global warming advocates.
Yes.
Leonardo DiCaprio, I heard that he only takes commercial airlines because he doesn't want to take a private jet because that's for you know one, or if there's even a couple people in there, what's the point?
Yeah, the point is that the plane is going that direction, and one person is not going to add or subtract. But getting a new jet, or a private jet flying, it's going to add a lot of carbon.
Exactly.
And you can't plant enough trees to really offset the carbon emissions.
Right, and I think that's so admirable of him because
Yep.
he's setting a standard and he's changing the way people
Yes.
how to look at travel. So
And they use
important.
more electric cars, some of these people. So they walk the talk and they live by what they preach, unlike others. They tell you, oh, the global warming, we have to do this, we have to do that. Yet they live in 30,000 square foot home without any solar panels, with air conditioning and heating system, and they travel with caravans of 18 big gas guzzlers.
Right.
And they have their jet, that helicopter waiting. So
right.
it has to be concerted effort from A to Z, not one thing.
Right. So maybe it is a good thing that gas prices are going up. Even though it affects us, it will, hopefully, and even for me, hopefully change the way I think about transportation.
Yeah.
Maybe carpool with someone, especially on the 405, living in Orange County and
Yeah.
LA, you want to use that carpool lane for sure.
Well, California is not the state of public transportation. I mean,
yeah,
it's pain in the neck to take public transportation. Unlike like New York, I lived in New York for 20 years. I had a car. I never drove it because it was easier to go from point A to point B, whether on bicycle or with the train, the subway. But it doesn't work in here. And most of even the super speed, high speed train that they are building in California, it's all gobbledygook. It's all mostly to benefit a certain amount of people. They already spent something like $2 billion on just planning, and it's going through unpopulated area.
Exactly. It's in Fresno.
Yeah, and not only that, it's not even super speed. It's going in choo-choo speed in some areas. So there's no clear cut. Initially, the super speed train was to go from Los Angeles to San Francisco in 2 hours and 49 minutes.
Right. Yeah, that.
So that would have been taken off some jetliners, that people that want to travel from downtown to downtown, but it's not.
Yeah.
So anyway, but global warming is real. Global warming is here, and it's here and we are getting to the point of non-return, putting so much carbon out and so much greenhouse gases that we can't turn it back.
Right, and I know some NFL
Yeah.
stadiums, such as the St. Louis Rams, and even the Chargers and Raiders. They're thinking of building one stadium in Carson and
Yeah.
another stadium in Inglewood. But the thing about the Chargers stadium that made it so nice was that when I went to school in San Diego,
Yeah.
if people wanted to go to a Charger game, it was so easy just to hop on the trolley.
trolley,
Yes, because it dropped you off right there. So
Okay.
and that would be so much more traffic. I
Yeah.
mean, I think it would be cool to have.
And you save $20-30 for parking too.
Right, yeah.
You were talking before we left the segment about March Madness. So
Oh yes,
let's circle back to March Madness.
So it has to do with the NCAA college basketball teams,
Mm-hmm.
and people make brackets. Last year, Warren Buffett offered $1 billion with a B as in boy,
Yeah.
dollars if someone got the perfect bracket. Of course, no one did.
And what's the odds of anybody getting the perfect bracket?
Right. I remember last year was the first time I thought Louisville may win, because when I was in high school, Louisville and Duke and also the Southern states
are
yeah,
heavily
very, very big on football.
Yeah.
So San Diego State, I love you, but I and you actually they did pretty well, but they lost out to Arizona. But
Yeah.
we just had to remember, okay, at least we live in San Diego and not Arizona. And then real quickly, speaking of San Diego, Comic-Con is coming up in July, and it sold in an hour. All of the tickets sold in a record-breaking hour.
Yep. That's because a lot of people waiting for it, and they just said, boom, gone. And I think how many thousands end up attending the show there?
Ooh,
I know
hundreds of thousands. I just know it's in the hundreds of thousands. It keeps on going up every year because, people are getting more and more into that sort of comic book.
Yeah.
There's so many shows now, whether it's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., whether, Game of Thrones, The Flash. When you think of any sort of convention that has to do with, television or production, you think, oh, it's going to be held in LA, but it definitely puts San Diego on the map, for sure.
Well, it's a nice place too. I think it's somewhat easier to go around San Diego than Los Angeles.
Oh, it definitely is. You don't, Los Angeles, they may have a lot of freeways, but San Diego, you never nearly have as much traffic. If you're driving on the 8 at 4 p.m. going eastbound, I never had to worry about traffic. Going westbound, it was a different story, but depending on the time.
Yeah. Well, with that, conclude our segment. So go ahead and sign off, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, we will see you next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Stephanie Myers. See you next time.